We need to prove to people in society that it doesn't matter where you come from. It's your mindset that makes you who you are. Your environment should not define you. Your mindset and what you know you are defines you, and that will take you a very long way.
Success occurs when opportunity meets preparation. When life deals us a hand with limited opportunities, many fold under its weight. But some, regardless of the hand they've been dealt, bravely push forward, and with the right support, are able to amaze and even inspire.
My name is Danita. I was born on the 10th of September 1999 to Ray Jondu and Delene Jondu. I am 23 years of age, and I lived most of my life, approximately 14 years, in a community called, infamously known as Tiger Bay. Yes, or what Guyanese would term as the ghetto. So I grew up there pretty much all of my childhood. Definitely growing up in the ghetto is not a fairy tale. You don't have the comforts of studying. Sometimes you have to wonder where your next meal will come from. There's a lot of quarreling and noise, a lot of street urchins there that would smoke, all of the things that would be detrimental to your health. I would have experienced cigarettes, cocaine, marijuana. Even on to this day, that smell of cocaine is stored into my internal memory. So if I smell it, I'll be like, oh my God, nostalgia right there. Yes.
Not the best nostalgia.
Not the best of nostalgia.
While Danita's environment may have been far from an ideal one for a child's development, her mother made the difficult commitment to push her daughter to excel far beyond her circumstances.
Growing up between the age of 5 and 8, I was very defiant, very rebellious. I wanted nothing to do with studying. I just wanted to play. But my mom, she did not want me to become a stigma of my environment. So she would keep my brother and I inside most of the time, and she would provide all the cartoons for us to watch so that we wouldn't be exposed to that life.
So she was just trying to shield you from your environment?
Shield you from from my environment, so I wouldn't be exposed to certain things. Yeah, when I was in primary school between grade 1 and 3, my handwriting was very peculiar. I would start, let's say this is a page, my sentence would start at the top and it would reach literally to the bottom, so it would be like a diagonal, and I would continue to write like that all the time. So my mother, she was busy trying to make a living for us and provide, so she wouldn't check my school books and so forth. So I would get away with all of that, and just like that, I was really a delinquent back then. Had no interest whatsoever in studying. So it was that dreadful day when we had the Parent-Teachers Association. And we went, of course, and she made the time to come. And my teacher was like, your daughter, she's a very slow learner. She has no interest in learning. Her attention span is very short. And how often do you check her books? Yes, it was from that moment I knew that I was in trouble. So she took it well, and we were walking home, and I was like, okay, I'm safe. And then when we got home inside, she locked the door.
Oh no.
Yes, she locked the door. And all I could hear was the jingling of the belt buckle. I was like, this is it, just take it. So I already start crying, the famous shield and all of these things. And that was a brutal lick by. A very brutal one. Yes. And from that day on, I was forced to do schoolwork, write properly, spell my name, the whole enchilada. Yeah, it was quite a devastating childhood on my end, but at the end of the day, it paid off well. I mean, of course, I would have preferred it to play out any other way, minus the violence, but it is what it is.
While her revelation didn't come easily, Danita's newfound perspective allowed her to put her all into her academics. This commitment and hard work would allow her to firmly grab hold of the opportunities that presented themselves.
So from grade 3, I realized that having the capacity to learn, that's a gift. And when you have the ability to learn, that's a skill. But once you're willing to learn, you have that choice. And I realized that if I am willing to learn, if I'm willing to put in that extra work and go that distance, I can do it. And when I developed that mindset, my grades got better. I was the teacher's favorite. I always topped in spelling. So it was from grade 3 that I started to take my studying very serious. And from there on, and I propelled to where I am today. I left St. Margaret's during primary 3, which is also known as grade 5, because Nations, the original destination was in Parade Street, but they moved to a bigger, better location, which is on the Market Street and close to the Tiger Bay community. So of course, there was a lot of skepticism, knowing that there's an area close by where they can be potentially robbed and all the bad things can happen. But as everybody knows, that's an area where there's a lot of commercial businesses. And those commercial businesses paid interest in the children of Tiger Bay. Every Christmas, they would supply gifts and they would bring food to share just to help with that nutritional aspect, right? So that was very nice of those commercial businesses. So School of the Nations, they had this, what they would call a service project. So they would use the students from the college to do one-on-one studying with children who have difficulty learning or are slow learners. So they will have that one-on-one time with them. So that's what started off at the service project at School of the Nations. So most of the Tiger Bay children would go. It was 2 months into that program that I actually decided to go because I was scared and my mother didn't see the need to send me there since I was at home trying to get whatever I could get done. But eventually, my environment wasn't so conducive for doing homework and writing and studying because it will be on the floor where you have to lie on your stomach and it will get painful and you have to twist and turn. The lighting is not that good and so forth. So it became a bother to me. I started to trouble with back pain from a very tender age. And 2 weeks after I attended that program, a scholarship was put forward for 5 students or 5 children from Tiger Bay, provided that they would have written a test and passed, have that pass mark above 60%. And I was in grade 5 currently. So I took the test and I came out the most successful. So I would have had the full 5-year scholarship. So I started Nations at grade 6, meeting a lot of new people, and the name is just as it is, School of the Nations. So there were a lot of diverse cultures there, a lot of different races and so forth. So it was a culture shock.
Despite her difficulties adjusting to her new educational environment, through her dedication and perseverance, and with the support of those around her who saw and believed in her potential, Danita continued to defy the odds and excel beyond what her naysayers might have expected.
The teaching there was completely different from what I would have experienced at St. Margaret's. So trying to transition from that faith to their customs, it was very difficult for me. So I dropped back a lot to the extent that I was in my 60s, leaving from a year of 8 and 9, between 8 and 9 to 60, 67. But it was overwhelming. I cried at night because at that point in time, my mindset was so great that I tried to be the best I could be. And that wasn't my best. And the teacher noticed and she pushed me. She told me that my area shouldn't define me. She gave me words of encouragement. She sat down with me and helped me through those tough times. And gradually, I went back to my 80s and 90s for the last term. And it was when I ended up in secondary school that I started to top every single course or term and would have been given the top student award right through until 4th form, where my 5-year scholarship would have ended. But because I've had such a great impact and I was determined, and the owners and all the teachers noticed, they advocated for me to have an additional scholarship. So I would have gone to fifth form and I would have written the international exam that's recognized worldwide. And I think Nations is the only school that offers that program, IGCSE. Yes, I wrote it and I was amongst the top 10 in, yes, impressive. In science subjects mostly, because that was my field of interest, because it was always a doctor I had in mind, but I wasn't sure which field or specialty I was going to pursue. So I just wanted to have my subjects. And parents would have heard about me and they were interested, so they would have paid for my exams, so that was very expensive. And even the teachers chipped in, and the owners, they would have played their part in getting my documents and so forth finalized for the examination. And they also offered me to go to sixth form, where I would have written advanced level, and I was very successful there too. I met a series of teachers, particularly Miss White and Miss Temple, that went above and beyond to help me, whether it comes to giving me motivation, supporting me financially, emotionally, mentally, and providing that nutritious aspect of my life to motivate me to continue. Because as we know, the brain needs food, and they know that, so they help me along with all of those things. Places like Giftland, every August, when we have to transition to a new classroom or so forth, they would provide my school books, exercise books, stationery, everything. And the owner, Miss Beepat, she was very fond of me and she would help me and so forth. The daughter even invited me to her house for parties. So that was the social aspect of my life. That was very comforting, because that helped me to come out of my shell a little and socialize more. They were very nice people, and I made friends and so forth, and everything was normal, because as they say, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So my mom understood that, so she would let me go and so forth.
After secondary school, Danita continued her educational journey, where to no surprise, she continued to excel.
I am currently a registered nurse, approximately 6 months now, so there's not much to tell on that end. But as a student, I would have had quite a lot of experience for about 3 years or so. So far, I really love it. At first, I was like, but I don't want to be a nurse, because my biology teacher said that it would be best for me to do nursing first and then transition to medicine after having my diploma, because, you get that clinical experience that is lacking in the medicinal program. So she said that would be good for me, because you learn by seeing and doing. So when she explained that to me and gave a valid rationale or reason, I said, okay, I will do it. And Miss White would have provided financial support for me to attend St. Joseph Mercy Hospital Nursing School. Even though I'm in a much better environment, it's still a small room. You don't really have that much space to do what you have to do, or you don't have a fast laptop and so, but you still have to make do with all of that. So I spent 3 years there. I was a top student and I graduated in September, and I was a valedictorian.
Oh, wow.
Yes, thank you.
While she has accomplished much, Danita is far from done. She intends to continue furthering her education, all while pursuing her passions and hobbies to lead a balanced and fulfilling life.
So I did some research and I found out that there's a doctorate in nursing. But in order for me to achieve that, I will first have to get my bachelor's in nursing, then I'll have to get my master's, and then I can do the doctorate in nursing. So I'm hoping to start out next year. But of course, finances would be a bit difficult for me, so I'm seeking help. Miss White is trying to help me along the way, and I would have made a vote of thanks at the Stubby Hub to President Irfan Ali, and he would have promised to help me with that. So I'm really looking forward to starting UG next year. For the long term, well, definitely I'm family oriented. So I want a comfortable home for my children, because I don't want them to go through what I would have been through. So they must be comfortable when they come into this world. So I would also like to pursue my hobby in baking and doing cakes, apart from medicine as well, as like a runaway. And I usually use gardening as a way of coping with all the patients that I would have nursed that past. it helps me to realize that when something goes, something else comes. So I use that as a coping mechanism. So apart from nursing, those are what I do. Baking or doing my own catering business and gardening.
Danita is a living testimony to the idea that dedication and hard work does pay off. She will continue to serve as an inspiration for her community and for any whose dreams and ambitions lie far beyond their circumstances.
Apart from mommy instilling the fact that she did not want me to be a stigma in my environment, I did not want to be a stigma in my environment too. And there's also the stereotyping that nothing good comes from the ghetto. So that was another factor that I wanted to prove to everybody else. I wanted to be an example to the rest of the children of Taipei that it doesn't matter where you come from or what you have, you can make use of what you have. And my advice is, well, to all of the children there, even though you might not have that support from your parents, you gotta build a mindset that you can do it. You have to be willing to do it, and you should choose a profession that you like. Because if you don't like that profession, you will not be motivated to follow through. Choose something that you like and it will flow easy and you'll get by easy. Once people see you have the potential and you're willing to go for it, they will help you. They will help you. And this study hub that President Ali is going to launch, once those children show that they want that help, they will get it and they can be just like me or even better.
And that's your hope.
Yes, and that's my hope. So I was very ecstatic when I heard about the project and I was asked to do the vote of thanks. That was a great honor. Yes. And that's why I had to encourage them, because I was once there and I would have been helped, and I'm here now, so you can be just like me or better. And that's why I made it my duty to come and inspire them myself and make that little note in there.